All right, so I guess we are live here and okay, so I guess we are live. Hello, everyone. Okay, so hello everyone. I welcome you all to this TCS NQT coding round. So today we are going to solve some of the coding questions for the TCS that most probably been asked in the last year or something. So before starting out with the session, do let me know if I'm audible and my screen is also visible to you. So basically, I just want to give you an idea that we are going to solve some of the TCS coding questions here. So we will wait a couple of minutes for others to join. Meanwhile, someone who has joined right now, so this is a question I'm putting out for you. So basically that you can, I hope you are with your pen and paper or you have opened up it in your laptop. And if you can work upon along the side with me to solve this question, then that will be great. So that basically it will be, basically I'll give you an entire idea how to solve this kind of question. And okay, so anyone, whoever has joined, so do let me know quickly in the chat box. So meanwhile, we are going to solve this question. I'm going to solve this question for you. I'm going to help you how to break down this kind of a questions. And also like whatever the difficulties that you are facing in terms of the complete TCS preparation, our team is there on the live chat to help you along with that as well. So anything that you have in terms of the doubts, anything if you need help in terms of what exactly you have to prepare for the TCS and everything. So you should just let us know that in the comment section so that, or even you can just tell us that in the live chat so that, basically we are here to help you out today with respect to all the doubts that you have regarding the TCS coding. Okay. So anyone, let's see. All right. Good evening, Anas. Uh, anyone here who like also let me know in the chat box. Like recently, like from 6 to 7, we have been live for some other topic for the TCS as well. So someone is from that live. If joining, continue to join this as well. Do let me know. And I just want to keep this entire session as interactive. The more you will interact me in this with me in this session, if you ask me a lot of questions, so I'll be really happy to help you out with respect to all kind of help that you need. Because until unless you engage in terms of this question, you tend to solve on your own, so it's not going to be beneficial for you, right? So do try to be active on the chat session so that it feels like I'm engaging with the real audience, so that it will, give me some energy to solve these questions and be conduct this kind of live sessions on regular basis for whichever the companies that are hiring in your college session. So basically, you can tell a lot of things in terms of if there is any hiring is happening in your college, if any specific company requirements that companies specific practice that you're making, or if you're learning something, just to let us know. We are here in terms of, let's say, to help you out with respect to all the things that we have. So someone is asking any approximate date for free TCS and QT. So as of now, I guess we are not sure yet, but I hope it might be there around like November or October, November something. So basically, that's why we have started this session so that the students of PrepInsta Prime can, basically start their preparation, because once they announce, then you will have very less time in terms of for the preparation. So it's better if you start this the preparation as soon as possible. Okay, so shall we start? Just do let me know if you are good and I'm audible, so we can start the session as soon as possible. Just let me know in the chat box, so we are good to start the session for today. Anyone, and also just you can just let me know in the chat box that if any of the company is hiring in your college, so that we can bring the interview preparation series for that company. And also we did last week, we did for the Accenture. This week on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we did for TCS. If there is any hiring that is happening, or if you're preparing for some specific company, we might come live for that specific company next week. So it's, you do let us know what are the difficulties that you're facing, and so that we are here to help you out with this. So basically, just to give you an idea for people, someone joined right now. So today we are going to solve some of the TCS NQT questions, and we are going to pick some of the coding questions. I'm going to get the questions. It's will be good. Like if you solve these questions along with me, and also I'm going to share the answers with you as well. So we are going to solve that in Python, Java, and C++, and rest you can pick any programming language that you are familiar with. So basically, we are mainly focusing on these three programming languages for today. Okay, so now for the people who are the regular watchers, so we have, so basically, if you're new to this channel, I would recommend you to hit that subscribe button and also make sure you like this video so that other people get you will get notified whenever we go live. Because most of the time we might do some only subscriber only live sessions. So in that says you will not be eligible to access the new resources that we are providing here, right? So along with that, also I will give you, let's say, if any of the companies hiring, or if you want to know like if you are preparing for like basically off campus drives. So we are currently sharing a lot of off campus drives on an Instagram channel. So on an Instagram channel, again, if you go to this link, the links are all provided in basically the description. So in this link, you will find we have different batches, like the channels with respect to the different batches. So you will see for 2024, there's a dedicated channel. For 2025, there's a dedicated channel. So why is the reason we have made these channels is that so that the student from that specific batch will get the information which is relevant for you. So for example, let's say if you're going to pass out in the batch of 2025 or 2024, so I would recommend you to follow that specific channel only. So basically, whichever the companies that are hiring for your specific batch, so that will be eligible for you. We are going to put all that hiring details on our Instagram. Along with that, let's say if you have any difficulties, so in terms of, let's say, coding, in terms of the practice, in terms of how to access the resources on the PrepInsta Prime, or in terms of what to prepare for the company, so you can always reach out to us on our WhatsApp. So we are active there, and also you can DM us on Instagram. So what if you need any resources or something, so that we can basically help you out with respect to all the things. And let's say if you need any technical related things, so you can join us on our Discord. And apart from that, we have LinkedIn and Telegram channels active as well. So I hope it is good for you. So you have understood, like basically these are all our social media channels where you can reach out to us. So make sure that you will be active on all the channels, because so that you will get notified whenever we are coming up live with these kind of sessions that are really, really important for you. And okay, so with that, I guess we have enough number of people joined today. So we will start with the first question. So this is the question that we have. And also we have a lot of questions on the chat as well. So the team is there to help you out with respect to any specific questions, like general questions that you have. But apart from, let's say, if you have any kind of a coding or technical question, I'm going to address all the questions on the chat box today. So do let me know. So if you have any of the queries, so we will go through that as well. Okay, so shall we start this session now? So I hope we are good to get started. So, okay, so now let's start with the first question of the day that we have. So here basically we have, imagine a parking lot in a shopping mall where the parking spaces are organized in a grid. So in a grid, basically in the programmatical term, we can call it as a matrix, or you can just say a plain grid where we can put some elements or right. So each parking space can be either empty, which is represented by 0, and occupied, which is represented by 1. I hope the text is visible as well, so you can read along with me and you can understand the question. And if it is possible, do try to solve this question along with me. So anyone who is able to solve the question during this live session, and if you can let me know what will be the solution for this, and if you're able to give me the correct solution, so the top 3 people might be able to get the PrepInsta Prime subscription for free of cost. So if you're not aware of what is PrepInsta Prime, just we'll solve the question, and later on I'll tell you about the Prime and what we actually provide you through the Prime, right? So the status of each parking space is represented as an element of 2-dimensional matrix. So basically we have everything, all this parking space that is for the shopping mall is represented by two-dimensional matrix. So your task is to find the index of the matrix, which is row, right? The index of the row, which is represented by the R, in the parking lot that contains the maximum number of occupied parking spaces, which is ones. So basically what we have to find out is there is a grid that we have. So we have like ones and zeros occupied in the parking lot. And depending upon that, so we need to find where the maximum occupancy is there. Okay, so let's look at some of the conditions. So I hope the question is clear to you. If not, you can just basically take a screenshot because we are going for the next slide so that we can read out some of the conditions that we need to know. All right. So here we have some conditions. So which is like a parking lot has dimensions, which is R into C, which is basically nothing but a row into we have column. Okay. And R represents the number of rows and C represents the number of columns. So each element in the matrix must be either 0, indicating an empty parking space, or 1, indicating an occupied parking space. So you cannot use any other character. So there is only, you can either indicate that by 1 or you can either indicate by that 0. Okay. So this is the note that we have to take care while solving this question. So now let's look at some of the example. I will explain you the example. And you can basically in the chat, you can tell me how to approach, like what kind of a, like, you can just simply put out like, okay, we can use for loop for this, or we can use some if else condition for this. So let us break down the question first and let us understand like how exactly we can solve it. So basically here we have given the number of rows, which is 3, and the number of columns, which is 3. Basically, this is going to be then 3 by 3 matrix. And the elements of array are given. So since we know that matrix is like two-dimensional thing, but the input is given in the one-dimensional form, because this is simply an array or list, we can say. But since we need to convert that into a two-dimensional matrix, so, and given this value, we have output value, which is 3. So what is this 3 actually? This is the row number 3, where the maximum occupancy of the vehicles is there. So basically our idea is to find what is the row number where the maximum vehicles are parked. So whenever we indicate 0, that means the space is empty. If it is indicated as 1, then we have. So basically this array, we can convert into 3 by 3 matrix like this. So basically it will become 0, 1 and 0. This is our first row. Second one, then this is complete. Then we have 1, 1, 0, 1, 1 and 0. And third, we have 1, 1 and 1. So if you just visualize this, if you just look at this example, we can see that the maximum number of ones are in the row 3. This is easier for us because we can just see the numbers, but how you would do that with respect to the program? And since it is the easier example to understand that we have 3 by 3 rows, and what happens if you have, let's say 10 by 10 rows or 10 by 15 rows. So you imagine how much larger the parking complex has, the parking for any shopping mall has, right? So we are going to put out this number in this way. So since this is very easy, so it is able to, we are able to understand, but how we would do that with respect to programmatically is basically we can sum the values. So anyone can tell me like how we can approach this question. So basically this is the row 1, I will tell you. This is the row 2 and this is the row 3. And out of these 3 rows, we need to identify which row has the maximum occupancy. So of course, the answer is 3 here. So because all the values we have is 111, all the spaces are occupied. But with respect to the program, what we have to do is we have to add all these numbers, right? We have to perform sum of each row. The first thing that we have to do is we have to perform sum of each rows. And once we perform the sum of each row, then we can find the maximum sum value. So in this case, for the first row, the sum is going to be 1. the sum is here in the second case, the sum is going to be 2, and in third row, the sum is going to be 3. And out of these 3 values, the maximum is 3. So that's why this is not the sum value. This is actually the row number that we have. So for example, let's say if we just twist this question a little bit, the given example, if I just twist it. So if we make like 1, 0, 1, and let's say 1, 1, 1, and another one also, let's make it as occupied. So this is the new matrix that we have. And this is the 1, this is row 2, this is row 3. So out of this, so I'll also write the sum as well. So here we have the sum of this row is 2, the sum of this row is 3, and the sum of this row is as well 3. And in this condition, we have these 2 values equal. So in this kind of a scenario, can you just tell me which row number I should pick? Whether the program should output as 3 or is it 2? So you got the question, right? So do let me know if you're following along with me. So if this is the condition, if we have in the first row that there are two fields are already occupied. In the second, we have 3 complete fields are occupied, and third row also we have occupied. So basically, we need to find, because why I'm giving you this kind of example is that whenever you're trying to, this question may look very easy, but there are going to be some hidden like test cases. So you need to think while writing the code. If I simply put the first example that I just give you, what you can do is you can just directly, you will just perform the sum and you will just return the maximum sum of the row index. But there could be some of the test cases which are most of the time that are hidden. So which will get executed only and only when you submit the code. So that's why you need to think this way, that what happens if this kind of a scenario comes into the picture. Whether what will be the answer here. So whether the answer will be 3, since this also has 3 occupancy, or whether it will be 2 because this also have the same. So can anyone tell me in the chat box what will be the answer? So if you have not followed along, just do let me know, so that I will explain you the question again. Or if you are just followed, so just do let me know what will be the answer. Like any guesses, just take the random guess, or just tell me what you are thinking, because unless you put some action, so I will not understand whether you are along with me or not, or based on that, basically, I can help you or drill down the question more easier than this. So you will be on the same page and we can solve this question together. All right, so can I expect an answer here? So just tell me. So this is the question here that we have. So we need to pick the row wherever the maximum occupancy is 3, since here we have this. Okay, so I'll just explain it again. So we have some questions. So basically, we have this array and we need to find where is the maximum occupancy of this, basically where we have maximum ones in which row. So 1 representing the parking is full and 0 is representing the parking is empty. So in this question, that whenever we find the sum of each row, we got 1, 2, and 3. So the maximum value was 3. So that's why the index number was also 3. So we have given the output as 3. But in the another example that I've shown, so in this given scenario, let's say if we have the maximum parking slot which are already occupied are same for row 2 and row 3 as well. So out of which one we have booked. All right. So I guess so now let's look at one of the examples. So I will tell you why the answer is going to be 2. Why we will pick the 2. So I'll explain you why this is 2. And meanwhile, we can pick one more example here. So we have one more example, which is basically, okay. which is 4x3 matrix. So anyone who is along with me, so basically you can just let me know in the chat box that if you're able to solve this kind of question. I need your help here, so that once you understand how to solve this with pen and paper, then it will be easier for you to create the logic and write the code for that as well. So let's write this way: 0, 1 and 0. This is the first row that we have. Then this will be our second row, which is 1, 1, 0. Then we have, this is the third row, 1, 0, 1. And this is the fourth row that we have 1, 1, 1. So we have 4 rows. So row number is always starting with 1. So 2 and 3 and 4. All right. So can you tell me what is the row number where we have maximum occupancy, which is, of course, we have the output where is the 4, because we have 3 maximum occupancy, which is all our ones. And if you do the sum of all these row values, so basically here you are going to get, which is 1, which is 2, here 2 and 4. So this value here, and if you make some changes with respect to example, the answer is going to be different here as well. All right, so did you get the question? So can we move to the coding part? So can we see how to write code for this? Just do let me know quickly so that we can go for the coding one. So anyone in the chat box, just quickly let me know if you can, if you're ready to, solve this in terms of the coding, so that we can move with the coding as well. All right, so thank you. We will look at the code example for this, and I will explain you. I guess you have understood the question. So if not, you can just take the image, like screenshot here, and you can just later on just tell me after the session, or meanwhile, whenever I'm explaining this code, you can try it on your own and you can put out your question here. All right. So basically, let's start. Let's go to the VS Code here. So we have VS Code, and do let me know if the code is visible, or otherwise, basically I'll just zoom a little bit for you so that it will be visible. All right, so is it visible, the code? So now let's look at one by one. So basically we need to find the row which has maximum sum. So that's the question that we have. So we have started with the function here, which is like find the row with the most ones. And we have the first variable, which is like maximum ones, and the maximum row, we have given it as a -1. So if you can tell me why we have initialized this variable with the -1. So initially, like we don't know as of now, as we have not started analyzing the matrix yet, but still we have initialized the variable as a -1. We could have just done 0 as well, but we have not done that. So just let me know why we specifically chose to -1. So meanwhile, when I'm going to explain, so you're going to understand why -1 is there. So now first look at, to make it the explanation easier, so that it will take a lot of time for me to feed the input. So I have given this variable here. So we have taken this example. Here we have this 2x2 matrix here, which we have given as a list of list. So which indicates a row 1, row 2, and row 3. So after this, we have to give the output, right? So first thing, what we are going to do is we are going to iterate on each of this row along with its row index as well. So for example, in a list of list, we have the indexes. We are going to iterate on the first value and the values inside that list as well. So for that, we are going to run a for loop, and we are going to get the index value, and we are going to get the complete row at that index value. So now consider whenever we are using the for loop and we have initialized the value of I, it's always going to start with 0. But the condition that we have with respect to this matrix is that we have that starts with 1. So that is important here. So whenever you're writing code for this, here it is going to start with 0 with respect to the for loop. But in the matrix, we are going to count that from 1. So just keep that in mind. I will tell you why I'm specifying that in this manner. Okay. So enumerate, okay, good question. So basically enumerate is a function in Python which will bind the index and the value of this. So let me take a simple example of a list, or if you're not familiar with the Python, we can call it as array. So if there are element A, B, C, and D, And as you know, each array or list in Python starts with respect to indexing, which is 0, 1, 2, and 4, 3, sorry. Okay, so they have by default the indexing starts from 0. So now, whenever I will iterate on this list for given this is our L, so it's going to print the values. So if I use the for loop and for element in L, it's going to print A, B, C, D, E. But along with this, I want to understand the index value as well. So enumerate, what enumerate will do is enumerate will bind the value with respect to its index. So this time, whenever I run this, it will print like A0, 1, B, then 2, C, then 3, D. So that's how we are using, that's why we are using this enumerate function, because we want, along with whenever you're going to find the sum of this each and every row, we want that index value as well, because at the end in the question, it is expected that we need to give the index value, not that row. So we want the index of that row wherever the sum is maximum. So that's why we are using the enumerate. And once you use that, let's clear the screen. I hope now it is easier for you to understand. So what we are going to once count. So we are going to keep the count, which is equal to sum of rows. So you're going to perform all the sum. You're going to count how many times this one is appeared. So here 1, here 2, and here 3. Then we are going to update this once count. If this once count is greater than max once. Okay, so look at this condition. If this once count is greater than max once, then we are going to update this variable. And we are going to increment this value as well. And this I is initially 0 and this 1. So max row. So row will become 1. So now why we have initiated this maximum 1 is as 1, because for example, let's say if there was a row where all the spaces were empty. In this case, the sum of ones is going to be 0 here. And if I compare this value here with respect to ones count, and here we are writing it's greater than max count, so this condition would have been false, right? Because if I initialize the max ones as 0, so 0 is not greater than 0, so this would have been false, and it was not able to update the row value here, and we were not able to get the maximum value here as well. So that's why we have initiated this with -1, so that even if there are all parking spaces are empty, it's still going to be higher than this maximum ones. Okay, so this way we are going to iterate this scene, and for the first iteration, it's going to be 1. For the second iteration, it's going to be 2. For the third iteration, it's going to be 3. And the max row that you will get is like for that number of iteration, you will get like 2 plus 1, which is going to be 3. And the max one, here the count is 3. So we are going to return this max row, which will output as a 3. So that's what the output is going to be there for this question. All right. So now I hope it was easier for you to understand. And yeah, basically I will have index and row will have value score. Okay, so basically whenever you give this enumerate function, so it will bind the index with respect to the value. Okay, so let's just execute this part, and also I have the second example as well. So I have given the input so that you do not have to feed these values. So let's execute this. Just give me a moment. So let's run this code here. Let's go to the terminal. And here I have kept the parking lot 1 as a value. So we are passing this to the function. We are calling this function that we have defined, and whatever the output that we have, we are going to print here. Okay, so now if I run this, so we have the value as 3. So which row has maximum? So now let's modify it. Let's keep this 1 and let's make it here 1 as well. So which I said, so for you, I have given one example to run, right? So that's why if we execute this, so let's execute this. In this case, so we have the answer as 2. So if you can just let me know in the comments. So even though there are like 3 rows, 3 maximum ones in the third row, and here also the 3, why exactly the answer is 2? So whoever is going to correct the answer, so you might be able to get the Prime subscription for free. So if you correctly explain that, right? So now let's change this to 2 and let's execute this part. So here we have 4 because we have the maximum ones on index 4. So row 4. Now if you also make some changes into the input here. So let's see if that works. All right. So now we got it as 3 because the maximum ones are here. So if you want the answer in the different programming languages, so here I have. So I will just basically, show you basically what you can do is you can just take a screenshot or keep, or you can just try later on executing this on your own. All right, so this is basically the solution, the same solution in the Java, and this is how it looks. So you can change the values here for the matrix that you want to give, and you can modify the code as well if it's required. So since I do not have any installation on C++ and Java, I'm just showing you the code here. So basically, if you understood the logic, then it will be easier for you to convert from Python to Java or Python to CPP. So just keep a note on this, just take a screenshot, and this is what we have. All right, so are we good with the question 1? So just do let me know in the chat box if it was easier or were you able to understand this question or not, so that we will move with respect to the second question that we have. Okay, so anyone just do let me know in the chat box if how you were able to understand the question, you were able to get the context, like how what kind of a question that you can expect. So I guess we have a question here. So basically what we have. Okay, yes, still you get this kind of a questions on TCS, so you can expect. So in terms of let's to prepare this kind of a question, I would recommend you to go like I told you, right? So if you're able to solve this question, you will get a chance to win the PrepInsta subscription. But also if you want to prepare more with respect to these kind of questions, I will tell you where you can access that. So basically, this is a website for PrepInsta.com. And the link is also given in the description. You can check this now or later on this session ends, because we have one more question to solve here. I'm just telling for the people who want to prepare more questions like this. So if you scroll down here, so you will find a completely TCS NQT specific dedicated resources. So if you check the syllabus, so on the syllabus page, all right, so here we have like dedicated 150 hours of content for the TCS, along with 10 plus mock test and 300 plus, topic wise mocks. And this is going to be a 120-hour content. So these are all the things. So currently we have been live for quantitative, logical, verbal coding. So while coding, if you want to crack the coding questions for the TCS NQT, you should complete this basic coding and intermediate coding. So these are all the topics based on which you can expect the questions in the TCS. So if you want all the guide, so basically you can just go here. And also we have separate track for basic coding and intermediate coding as well. So I'll just show you in a minute here. Okay, so here we have. So one thing is that you can access a company specific track completely, which is either you are preparing for TCS or you are preparing for Accenture, TCS Digital, or any other company with that you can see here. Apart from that, in order to crack the coding interview for the TCS, you should prepare basic coding and intermediate coding. And before that, if you're a complete beginner, I would recommend you to pick any one of the programming language. So since with this subscription, it is not just going to help you with the TCS preparation. There are like more than 200 plus courses which are comprised of the popular skills, like we have data science, data analytics, and AI ML. So, and along with that, if someone is interested in terms of the full stack development, we have a complete track there as well. So, and if you are just specifically focusing currently on the interview specific, so you can pick one specific programming language. Later on, you can complete basic coding, intermediate coding, and you can just learn the data structures, because it might not be able to, companies might not directly ask you the questions on data structures, but whatever code that you have submitted, they will see how efficient you can write the code. And the first thing for any interview is going to start from the aptitude. So make sure you start your preparation from the updated questions, and in the syllabus page, you will get all the topics that you have to prepare for the TCS for the aptitude. So you will get that as well. And most of the time in one-on-one interviews, so TCS might ask you the questions on computer networks and operating systems. So to prepare for that kind of interviews, we have dedicated tracks for computer networks and SQL and operating system as well. So basically, this is all you can get. The link is already given in the these are just the things that I'm telling you in terms of the course. But apart from, there are a lot of things that you will get in terms of the dedicated mentor and to help that you need in our community that we have for all the prepsters, so that you can get. And why I'm basically telling you is that, so if you're looking, so TCS is around the corner, so they can announce their placements, and by the time the prices might go high. So if you're interested, you can just give a call on this number, and a mentor will help you how to prepare, and you can just speak to your mentor saying that whatever the help that you need. So the mentor will help you in terms of how you can prepare with this platform. All right. So why I'm telling you, because this is the good chance to grab this opportunity at the current sale that we're lying. So basically, this is the lowest price that we have right now. And if you use the coupon code YouTube as well, so you may get some discount. Or if you want more details about the subscription, you can just give us a call on this number. But make sure. So even if you, let's say, wait for like October or November when TCS is going to announce, so that time the prices might go high. So it's up to you. Just all I'm just telling you to get it when there are very less prices. So then, like, whether you are going to get this and start your preparation now, or you will be, in the last moment you have to rush to prepare and everything, that thing. Right. So we'll get back to the question 2. So just let me know if you can see the question 2 on the screen, so that we can continue the question 2 here as well. So I've already kept the question 2 on the screen. So start reading out, try to understand. All right, so just do let me know. Shall we start with the question 2 here? Anyone in the chat box, so who's following along with me? So just let me know so that we can start with the question. So will you be, if I give you one or two question for the assignment, will you just also let me know, will you be able to solve that? And is that a good idea, so that you can explore this on your own and let us know? And also the answers, we will keep that in the chat box as well. Or we just pin the answer, the correct answer as well. So, no, okay. So let's start with the question 2. So basically, the selection of MPSC exams. Okay, so we have to check. MPSC exams includes a fitness test that is conducted on the ground. There will be batch of 3 trainees appearing for running tests in track of 3 rounds. You will need to record their oxygen level after every round. Okay. So now, after finishing all rounds, calculate each trainee his average oxygen level over the 3 rounds and select the one with the highest oxygen level. So after completing the 3 tracks, whoever the training is having the highest oxygen level is considered as the fittest trainee. And let's say, so basically you need to identify out of these 3 who is the trainee which has the highest fitness. Okay, so how you're going to find that? So you're going to track their oxygen level, and you're going to do the average of those oxygen levels at the end of round 3. So if more than one trainee attains the same highest average level, they all need to be selected. So given a scenario, whenever 1 or 2, or let's say all the trainees have the same level of the oxygen at the end of the round 3, you have to select all, you have to select 2. So depending on how many people are there. Okay, so this is the question, and I hope you were able to understand this. So let's move forward with that. So we have the note here. So the oxygen value entered should not be accepted if it is not in the range of 1 to 100. So basically the oxygen value is supposed to be in the range of 1 to 100. And if the calculated maximum average oxygen value of trainees is below 70, then declare all the trainees as unfit with the meaningful message as all trainees are unfit. So basically, the range should be between 1 to 100, and the maximum average. So basically, if the calculated maximum average value is below 70, then you have to declare them as unfit, and average oxygen values should be rounded. So whenever you're going to conduct the average, so basically here 3, the most probably the answer might be in the fraction, but since you have to round that value, so there will be like a complete whole number that we will get. All right, so here we have, let's look at some of the examples here. So one example that we have, so here we have the values for all 9 values, which are like values of all 3 people for the 3 tracks. So the first value, which is representing for oxygen value of trainee 1 in round 1, and likewise we have, this is the oxygen value of trainee 2 in round 1 itself, and we have this oxygen value of trainee 3 for round 1. Likewise, we have for round 2 and round 3. So once you record these values, what you have to do is, let me just change this. So you have to pick the value of first one from this, from the round 1, from the round 2, from the round 3. And you need to perform the average of these values and check if this is average. If this average is less than 70, then you need to call them as unfit. And similarly, you have to compare this for player 2. You can just pick these numbers, you can calculate the average, and you can pick these numbers and you can calculate the average for player 3 as well, or trainee 3. And you need to compare that. So this is the question that we have. And again, if you're solving this with respect to the Python, so we are going to use the list of list method. We will iterate and we will pick the value, or you can just take the value from the user for each round. Then you will, what we can do is we can calculate all the average of the player 1, player 2, player 3, and you can store that in one more array. And from that array, you can pick the index of which player. So you can just declare what will be, who is going to be the fittest trainee here. All right. So let's, without further ado, let's move to visual code here. And here we have basically for Python. And I guess here's what we have. Let me just keep this in frame so that it will be easier for you to understand. So I can just move a little bit and it will be good. Okay, so let me add. All right, not now. Okay, so here we are. So let's move a bit so that you will be able to understand. Basically, I'll add here. All right. So basically what we are doing here, so let's start solving this with, so first we have created an array of array, all the empty one. So in the first one, we are going to, for the round 1, and this is for the round 2, this is for the round 3, and this will store all the average values of the trainees. And once we do that, so we are going to iterate with this. So we are going to use a for loop, which is for the range 3, and we are going to use one more for loop. So for each iteration for the trainee of I, we are going to append the value here. So basically this here we'll take, and here we will add the value. This is going to be the one array. This one is going to be the another array where we are going to take the value and the value that previously we have seen. And we are going to check the condition if this value. So now this line will help you create all these kind of a 3 arrays here. So this will help you. So I'll just show you what we have here. So basically this will take enter oxygen level for round, this one round of I for the player number. All right. So once we do that, we are going to see if this trainee of I of -1 is not in range of 1 to 100. So whenever this we have, what this trainee of I of -1 will indicate is that it will indicate this value. So the last one. All right. So if it is not, it's going to pick all the values. And if it is not in the range of 1 to -1, so it's going to, if it is not in the range of 1 and 101, so why we have kept 1 and 101? Whenever we use the range function, it's going to start with 1. and the last value is going to be exclusive. So that's why it will just read till 100 itself as a condition we have mentioned. So if it is not in that value, it will say invalid input. So the last value, for example, let's say if I entered the one value here, let's say 92, and the second value, let's say if I entered 70, and the third value, let's say 120. For this given list, this is going to be the -1 value. So we are going to pick the latest value that we have updated on the list. So any latest value that we have updated on the list, that is going to be the -1 index. We will check that, and we will tell if it is basically like valid input or invalid input. So once we do that, we are going to pick in the trainee 3, which is this trainee 3 will basically nothing but this list that we have. And because if I write the index 0, 1, 2, and 3, and we are going to append that with respect to trainee 2 of I. So we are going to pick one value from second from this. We are going to pick from this. We are going to pick from this. We are going to add them, and we are going to divide by 3. So we are going to do that element wise. That's why we are doing that in the for loop. And once we do the element wise, we will get the average values that we will update in this list. After that, we will calculate the maximum value. What is the maximum out of this 3? And once you find the maximum, we will check if any of the trainee averages. If it is less than 70, we will pick that specific trainee and we'll say that unfit. Let's say if any number of averages is going to be equal, like let's say if trainee of I is going to be maximum, then we will pick trainee number, and that number we can say as, for example, 1, 2, or 3, given any value that we have, we can tell that the person is having the highest health, like fittest person for this one. Okay, so I hope it was clear to you, since this is the solution that we have in the Python. So I will show you around the code here. And also we have the same with respect to C++ as well. So do take a screenshot or just go through it. Let me know in the chat box if you're able to understand this. And if you want to practice more this kind of a question, I'll also tell you how this is going to work. So I'll just keep a screen for few seconds so that you can take a screenshot. All right, so this is for the C++, and also if you're familiar with any other programming language, you can solve that as well. So here we have this code on C. Okay, so this is what we have here. All right, so basically, once you get this, you can just use this value. So I don't want to just, it will work, of course, I know. So basically, if you want, I can just iterate all these values. I can tell you of the player, but once you have understood, what you can basically do is that in this program, like let's say if we execute this, so it will start asking for the values, and I'll tell you why this is. Okay, so first what we will do is we will exit this, and we will clear the screen, so that we have a clear idea. And I will just, zoom a little bit, not that much. Okay, so now let's run this code. Let's focus on part here. So it is asking enter oxygen value of 0 and player 0. So this was technically meant that it should ask for round 1 and player 1. But since in the for loop here we have used this values I and j, and this directly starts with 0. So if you want to make the changes here, what specifically changes that you can do is like in the range function, you can do is like 1, 4. And also this range function also you can make the changes as 1, 4. So this way, this value will start from 1 and this value will start from 1 as well. So for your understanding, you have to give it in a way that this is like 0, 0. All right. So once you feed all the input that we have here, so basically we have to feed 95, 92, and 95. So basically we have 95, 92, and 95. So it will keep asking you the questions 92, then 90 and 92. So basically we have 92, 90, and 92. Then we have 90, 92, and 90. Okay, so 90, 92, and 90. So once you value, you're going to see that the trainee number 1 and trainee number 3 has the equal amount of the average that they got. So these are the two trainees which are the fittest that we have. All right, so that's it, guys. So I hope it was a good session for you. You got to know something new out of this. So do let me know if you, I'll be there for a couple of minutes. So do let me know if you have any kind of a query so that I can help you solve this kind of a questions. And also on a closing note, I just want to tell you that just make sure you check all our social media channels like Instagram, WhatsApp, Discord, LinkedIn, and Telegram, where you will be sharing a lot of details with respect to the hiring, with respect to the live session that we're going to take. So that will be helpful for you a lot. And on last, so if someone has joined late, so this session will be available on the channel where you can just access that. And if you want to just check the prime, and if you want to go through that, so all the links will be given in the description so that it will be easier for you to understand. All right, so if you have any queries, so do let me know, or you can just drop your queries in the comment section once the session ends, so that we will help you out with respect to comments, or you can just reach out to us on our social media channels, so where we are happy to help you out with respect to any doubt that you have. All right, guys. So thank you for joining. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next session. Bye bye. Have a good night.